Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set.
I think sometimes we do compare ourselves to others. We compare ourselves to others. But if we could just look in the mirror today and compare ourselves to who we were yesterday, just personally, right? Because everybody's made differently. Everybody has different gifts, right? Like, I'm not going to get upset if somebody else is exceeding in an area of their life and I'm not, because I'm exceeding in areas of my life that other people aren't. So how am I going to compare? It's like comparing apples and oranges. We're all fruit, right? But I'm not the same as you and you're not the same as me. And I wasn't given God-given gifts like you were and vice versa. So how am I going to sit here and compare myself to you or vice versa or to anybody else, right? It's just we have to evaluate ourselves every single day. Who were we yesterday? What did we accomplish yesterday? What did we do good? What did we not do good? And how can we get better tomorrow?
And then even if you look at other people, just look at it as they're setting the tone for something that you can do. Because we all copy and paste in the essence. If we want to be really great, all we got to do is copy and paste every day. Follow the lead. All the secrets are on the table. It's not a secret.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some people do think that, though. Wouldn't you say? It's like, what does she know that I don't know? When the dust settles, we're all doing the same things. It's just you've got a better structure. You've got maybe better work ethic now. You've made your mind up. I think sometimes it's just as simple as that. Like, you just made your mind up that you weren't going to play around with this thing anymore. It's like, I have all the tools and the resources. Am I going to put them into play, or am I going to keep talking about it and act? Because we all know what we're supposed to do, right? Like last year, you knew exactly what you were supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Right?
You can play around and just say, hey, I'm making busy work to say I'm doing the business. But I got to be very real with myself, because I still have people around me that say, hey, you getting out. You need to go get a job.
And they'll still say that. And then all of a sudden, when they start seeing what's going on and what's happening in your life as far as, financial part goes, they'll be like, she really did do that thing. Because I remember even for Frank and I, our parents would say to us probably up until like year 3 in this business, you should probably go get a job. You should probably go get a job. I'm like, we're not job people. That's exactly what we're saying. Like, you can just stop saying that, because we're not job people. It might look ugly right now, and it may look like it's a struggle, but anybody who starts a business, it typically is in the beginning.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, you are in the military, and you're thinking about your getting out, or, your time's almost up, whatever it is. And so this will be full time for you. So, but let's talk a little bit about those 18 families, because I think sometimes people forget that's 18 families in 1 week, 18 families last month, whatever, however this crumbles, but you still have a job.
Yes, I do.
And what does that look like through the week?
So it looks like sometimes I may go in, sometimes I choose not to, but I do work
Yeah.
essentially through email or.
Yeah. So you can work from home, or you can work in there. Yeah.
And, for me, I just was like, because I hear it all the time, even from leaders in the military, hey, you gotta back up. You gotta separate yourself. So I take Thursdays to separate myself. I may go in half a day on Wednesday or do some work on Wednesday. Then I'll run that one full day on Thursday. If I go to any appointments, they're like half a day on Tuesday or half
after you work your full-time job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's half of the.
Yeah. And you're a mom. And how many kids do you have?
5 at home.
And your wife. So, I mean, this isn't like.
And I have my mom.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like. So I think sometimes people make excuses as to why they can't make this happen, or why, it's not working for them. And really all it boils down to is because you weren't working. You weren't doing the things that will allow you to help 18 families in a week.
And then that why has to be strong enough. If you know what you're working for, you got to work. And if it's up to you, you have to put in the work. Work is it, and we got to pay to play.
Yeah.
We have to invest in ourselves.
What are some ways that you invest in yourself? I would just say like day to day.
So day to day, I have my regimen where I get up. I say that I declare prayer. I pray. I have morning affirmations by myself. And then I'm investing in myself. I'm going to the gym. I did invest in a life coach. So because that's for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be full-time at this, and I want
your mind to be right.
I want my mindset has to be right, because I look at it, if I'm doing this half-time, I'm not on the phones like everybody. So if I put in this work half-time, it's kind of scary what full-time will look like. So I want to make sure I'm ready in all aspects. So I invested in a life coach. I'm fully committed to God and invested in myself, whether it be books, positive videos, but I have to fill my mind with something and appreciate just where I'm at.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people underestimate what they watch, what they listen to. What goes in is going to come out. So if you're someone who is listening, if you're just scrolling TikTok, watching all this like nonsense all the time, the good stuff isn't going to come out if that's what you're putting in. You have to make a conscious effort to make sure that listening to things that are going to further you, whatever it is going on in your little world, whether it's further you spiritually, whether it's further you in business, whether it's furthering your marriage, right? I mean, like, let's face it, when we'll just use marriage because we're both married, people go through stuff with their spouse, right? And what do? Go over to their girlfriends and talk to their girlfriends who also having problems with their spouse, and right? Instead of maybe finding someone who has a little bit more wisdom with this, or watching, reading a book that of somebody who's maybe been through, a scenario like this. Like, marriage is not for the faint of heart. Why do you think divorce is like 50%, right?
Absolutely.
Because people are like, meh, bye. It takes work. It takes work. And so does being successful in business. It takes work. It's not just like you wake up one day. I think a lot of times too, people see what goes on social media, and they see like, oh, this one has a fancy car, this one has a nice house, this one has this, that, and the next. But they didn't see the grind for 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it took to get to that Facebook post or that Instagram post. There's a grind that goes into being successful in business for yourself. There's no paycheck every morning for doing nothing. And so I think sometimes people just forget about that piece of it. And all it is just daily habits. That's all it is. Disciplined daily habits. And then it looks like the Instagram post usually, or whatever. I'm not big on that stuff, but you know what I'm saying? So other than what your routine, let's talk a little bit about what your daily habits are now as far as the business goes. So are you doing telesales, or hybrid, face-to-face?
So I do some face-to-face. I do telesales as well. Today, half of the day, I'll do telesales. I'll see 2 people later, and that's my day. I get it in when I can.
Yeah.
And I think I try to be intentional with my time. My time is short on the phone. It's never long. So I really try to be intentional. I'm not on there all day. So if I'm booking, I'm like, oh, they got to be strong, or this is strong today. Whatever I set my number to has to be strong, so I could put something on the charts.
Yeah.
And
do you say that you do more telesale or more face-to-face?
Both. I just think that it's 50-50.
Yeah. So it just depends on your week, what you've got going on. If you can go see people face-to-face, you will. If you can do a presentation on the phone, then you'll do a presentation on the phone. What is your weekly goal as far as do you set weekly goal as far as like how many sits and presentations, or how many apps? Like what's
my weekly goal is 10 to 12. That's on my board. 10 to 12 is
presentations and face sits.
Yes, 10 to 12.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think it takes that much.
Yeah. Of 10 to 12, how many apps do you think that you on average collect?
The week? 10 to 12.
Yeah. Okay. So of the 10 to 12 apps that you collect, how many presentations does that take? What'd you think?
Not a lot. Probably like 7. because if I'm going to your house, I'm going to see who else is in this house.
Okay. All right. So you're collecting multiple apps when you're sitting with people.
When I'm in the house, I'm going to see who else. Or if you got kids, I'm going to say, hey, let's just go over their coverage. I know I heard you say they're older, but let's see what they have in place. Let's make sure they're in the proper plan, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But
Very assumptive.
If they're in there, I'm going to get them right there and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's face-to-face, your telesale presentation. If you do 10 presentations, how many apps to move forward?
I think telesales is pretty simple. When I do get on the phone, it doesn't take me long to close. I got it off of one of my colleagues, just listening to what he says, and I copy and paste. Hey, if I'm dialing no leads, I'm talking about, hey, I'm doing an annual review. The Department of Life Insurance just came out with some new rates. I want to make sure you're in the best rate. If they're not available right then and there, I say, when is the best time I can call you back? They give me the time, I'm calling them back. But I'm leading with, I'm doing an annual review and ensuring that you're in the best rate, because if I can, I want to help you save some money.
Okay.
Get the best bang for your dollar.
Mm-hmm. Where are these leads coming from?
The ILC.
Okay. And which ones do you like the best out of the ILC?
So now I like the old ones. I always used to buy the new ones like last year and the year before, but I really enjoy the old ones. You can put your spin or find your niche on it, and I like the annual review thing. I want to make sure you're in the right. It only takes about 10 minutes. When is the best time I can speak to you? And some people really want the new best rates, and sometimes you get
they don't have anything
coverage. They don't have none, or they have accidental death benefits. So you're helping.
How do you
people.
see what they have if you're on the phone?
So most of the old leads I have is in the area. If they want me to come out,
You're there.
I'm there, absolutely there. But I that's been working lately.
So do you go into it as if you are going to do a presentation telesale and then pivot to see them face to face, or how does that conversation
It'll work
happen?
out for me. I think I'm a telephone connoisseur.
Me too.
Once we on the phone, it's very seldom that I have to go to somebody's house.
Yeah.
Or it's very seldom that I have to go to somebody's house. I'll sell in Florida, Georgia.
Okay. So you're doing your annual review. Do you tell them to get their policy out now?
If they have a policy, like I just called a lady. She said, hey, at 2:30, make sure you call me back. I'm doing an annual review. I want to make sure you're in the best rate. At 2:30 is a great time for me to call her back. Perfect. Have that policy out. It doesn't even sound like she had coverage.
Right.
But that's just...
We're acting like she does because she says she does.
Mm-hmm.
So are you taking a look at it? Are you telling them what... Are you just asking them what they have?
Yes. Sometimes I may get people, they say they got blank, 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 and I'll say, okay, come on, I'll come over and we'll review the policy.
Yeah.
And that'll work too.
So let's just say that they have a policy, but maybe they were looking for more coverage, or how do you uncover what's going on in the situation that makes you allow you to go to a new application?
Like I said, we have some great deals right now. The Department of Life Insurance came out with some new rates, and I'm here just to do some annual reviews. I know you don't have that policy, but I have some great rates I can offer you. When is a great time? Is now. Do you have about 10 minutes?
I gotta leave in about 20, so as long as it's 10 minutes, then I can do it now.
Okay, perfect. All right, so like I stated before, my name is Amaka. I'm gonna go over a few things with you, right? My job is a little different than the agents that we send in your house. My job is just to ask you a few medical questions, and depending on how you answer those, it'll give me a great idea which companies will approve you and which ones might decline you. Once we pull up some options for you, we'll see which one is going to offer you the best rate. With that, then we'll submit an application. Unfortunately, you're not going to commit to anything today, right? Because I'm just one of the senior underwriters. That company has to say yes or no. So you're not locked into anything today. We're just going to submit the application to ensure that you're approved for coverage. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to ask you about these 9 or 10 medical questions. They're generic, and It'll give me a great idea which company we're gonna go with, and I'll lead off with the questions. And
So it's basically just fill out the client worksheet.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time.